What's up, everybody? Say welcome home to the Leafs, who are back after a 5-game road trip, getting ready to take on the Florida Panthers tonight at Scotiabank Arena. And tonight's a very special night for Toronto Maple Leafs because it is our next-gen game, meaning that the next generation of Leafs fans are taking over. So expect some great energy. And in the spirit of the next-gen game, please, everyone, say hello to Mattan, our special next-gen analyst for today's episode. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much. So excited to have you here. As always, I'm Jacqueline Doorey. Welcome to Live from Morning Skate, presented by FanDuel. Now, Mattan, since you're going to take over Becky's role as analyst today, we need to get to know you a little bit more. So tell us how old you are, what grade you're in, and what got you into hockey.
Well, I'm 16 years old, and what got me into hockey is I was at my younger brother Anthony's hockey game for the first time. I don't remember much of it, to be honest, but I do remember going home and watching the Mighty Ducks.
Oh, classic.
And from then, I just said, hey, this is what I think this is, I can do this. And ever since then, I've just never looked back.
A Mighty Ducks origin story, there is nothing better than that. And tell us a little bit about your Leafs fandom, because you're a fan of the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yeah, I'm a big Leafs fan. I've been a Leafs fan for about, I think, 6 years now.
All right.
So it's been a long and fun journey.
And it's only going to get longer, and it's only going to get more fun. All right, so this also isn't your first next-gen game. So can you tell us a little bit about what it's all about and what it's like to experience?
Yeah, the next generation game. This means something a lot to me because, we are the next generation and we're here. And the fact that they're chosen for this for the third time is just really special to me.
Amazing. So you've been to 3 next-gen games before. You're here as our host today. It's exactly what it's all about. So speaking of the next generation of Toronto Maple Leafs fans, let's get to a little housekeeping first, because I want to talk about an announcement about the next generation of hockey players. Yesterday, the Toronto Maple Leafs announced a very special collaboration with Drew House, creating the House of Hockey Ball Hockey League, happening this summer all across Toronto and the GTA. It's a collaboration with Drew House, like I mentioned, so backed by Justin Bieber, it's the real deal, and of course sponsored by Tim Hortons. And the goal of this league is to help grow the game by increasing access. So the league's going to run for 8 weeks over the summer. Kids are going to get equipment, lessons, jerseys, and all, hopefully, to get more kids into the sport. I know I would have joined this league if I could have growing up. Would you have?
I started playing ball hockey before I started playing ice skating. This is one special thing, and I would take this thing in a heartbeat.
Totally. And of course, we got some really great merch happening. House of Hockey, I've got my sweatshirt, so lots of cool things to look forward to happening this summer with the Toronto Maple Leafs and Drew House. Okay. So now that that's out of the way, let's talk some hockey. This week started off strong with some good news for the Toronto Maple Leafs, with the Florida Panthers losing to the Ottawa Senators, which officially made the Toronto Maple Leafs' 7th consecutive playoff run locked and loaded. And we knew this was coming for a little while now, but it's always nice to have things in writing, right? So a great way to start the week and some good news. So let's get into that road trip, Mattan, because it was a 5-game road trip, the Leafs getting 3 wins, and it was a very busy weekend with back-to-back games, the latest being Sunday night against the Nashville Predators. And it was a solid effort, 3 goals throughout for the Leafs in each period, 1 per period, and of course they kept the Preds off the scoreboard until the final 20. But it would be the Leafs taking that win 3-2. So Mattan, what stood out to you most about that game?
What stood out most to me is that the Leafs were outshot 10-1 in their first 8 minutes of the game, but they were able to bounce back and hold down the fort. And even though Tyson Barrie did score to make it a 1-goal game, they were able to lock it down for Joseph Woll, and they actually did outshoot Nashville 34-25 at the end of the game.
Yeah, really took control of the pace of that game. And like you said, Joseph Woll having a fantastic performance for the Leafs. And Joseph Woll, what a perfect name for a goalie. You can't make that stuff up.
Brick Wall.
Brick Wall, the Wall. I mean, the list goes on. We're going to have fun with that in the future with Joseph Woll. And of course, I also want to mention our captain, John Tavares, had a fantastic game, a power play goal late in the first, and he had the assist on the Alex Gerfoot goal in the second period, and then followed that up, of course, with another power play goal to clinch the lead. So, Mattan, what's impressed you most about our captain, Tavares?
Well, first of all, he's our captain, so that's very important with his leadership.
Yeah.
But his durability and his consistency through his time as a Maple Leaf. Even though he's 32, he's still putting up massive points for the Maple Leafs, and you love to see that.
You do love to see it. Can't get any better than that. So hopefully we'll see more from that, or from our captain tonight. So let's move on to what is happening on the ice right now. You're here at morning skate. It's optional this morning, so not the entire team there. But we take a look at who's on the ice. I think you mentioned Michael Bunting was on there.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Ryan O'Reilly as well. You know, he's been out since getting that broken finger. But, you know, you just love to see that he's back skating with the Maple Leafs. He's back playing April 4th, Sheldon Keefe said. So having him in the lineup for the playoffs is going to be huge.
Exactly. He's looking good. He was doing some individual drills here this morning. And like you said, projected start date April 4th. Doesn't look like we'll see him this week, but we'll keep our eyes for that return date. Another injury update, of course, is another person you won't see on the ice. Noel Acciari has an injury from the game versus the Predators. So he is day-to-day at this point, sending him all the good vibes. And of course, someone else who we will potentially see tonight, I don't think he's in net right now, but Ilya Samsonov made his return to practice yesterday. Potentially could get the start tonight after the birth of his son. We haven't seen him since March 21st. He was on baby watch, and of course, healthy baby boy came later in the week. So big congratulations to Samsonov, and we will see who makes it into the crease for the start tonight. All right, speaking of tonight, I think we can start talking about the Panthers now.
Sure.
Panthers coming into tonight's game off a 5-2 loss to the Ottawa Senators, sitting 4th in the Atlantic Division and really fighting for that wild card spot. But it hasn't been long since we've seen the Leafs face off against the Panthers. Just last week, the two teams went head-to-head, and the Leafs having a pretty good game. I think we all remember that huge second period performance. 3 goals helping the Leafs to a 6-2 win. What was your biggest takeaway from that performance?
The biggest takeaway from that was Alex Kerfoot. He scored his first goal in 26 games. That has to feel good for him, getting back on the score sheet. And then he scored again in Nashville, so it really looks bright for Kerfoot after struggling. And then our captain, John Tavares, he had 3 assists that game, another multi-point performance from him that game. And Matt Murray shut the door with 33 saves on 35 shots.
Yeah, Matt Murray, an incredible performance. What are you liking about having him in the tandem this year?
Well, him and Samsonov have just been constantly rotating out. You know, Matt Murray, he struggled with the Ottawa Senators last year, but, you know, you love to see him bounce back after really him struggling.
Yeah, definitely. The two of them together making a Toronto Maple Leafs fans feel very confident with what's happening in the crease. And so, you know what? Let's talk a little bit about Austin Matthews for a moment, just because you're wearing his jersey right now.
Yep.
I know you're a big fan. What do you like most about him?
I mean, his size and his speed, really, and his shot. You know, he's really just changed the game with shooting the puck. And, you know, he's 6'3", he's a big guy, and he uses every single advantage that. His hands, even though he's 6'3", he has... his hands, he's so nasty. He's just so nasty.
Exactly, and we'll hopefully see some more good play from Austin Matthews tonight. And, you know, the team will be looking for another repeat win against the Panthers, but they will have some things to watch out for. For example, the Panthers are averaging just under 3.5 goals per game, and of course they have a ton of offensive threats, starting with Carter Verhaeghe, who is leading the team in goals, and of course Matthew Tkachuk, who is closing in on his 2nd consecutive 100-point season. We talked about this earlier. You're super impressed by that.
Yeah, you know, after a couple seasons in Calgary, he's just really taken it to the next level with his game in Florida. You know, they lost, Florida did lose Huberdeau, but did they get Matthew Tkachuk, and that was really big for them.
Huge. We will give credit where credit is due. So having said that, there are a couple of things that the Leafs blue line will have to watch out for tonight. What do you think they'll have to do to shut down the Panthers' offense?
Well, they're going to have to stay out of the box and keep their stick on the ice. You know, this is a Florida team that you really don't want to mess around with, because they will punish you. And even though that they did get outshot by Nashville in the first, you're really just going to have to keep playing and just really make sure that you're hard on them, because they can punish you.
That's exactly right. And, you know, we mentioned the Panthers are letting in they are scoring just under 3.5 goals per game, but they are also letting in just under 3.5 goals per game, 3.42 to be exact. And when we take a look at their penalty kill, they're also sitting 28th in the league. So that's another area where the Maple Leafs will be able to capitalize tonight. So when we take a look at this matchup, big picture, what do you think the win will come down to tonight?
I think it's just going to have to be, you're going to have to stay out of the box, as I said. You know, they are 28th power play percentage, but, you know, they have one of the most underrated players in Alexander Barkov. He had a couple of seasons ago, he had the most quietest 100-point seasons in the NHL. So you're just going to have to make sure you stay out of the box and keep your feet moving.
That is exactly right. So now that we know everything you need to know about tonight's matchup, let's get to our prop picks presented by FanDuel. We will start, as always, with the highest scoring period. I'm going to go with the second. Like I mentioned earlier, the Buds put up 3 goals in the second when they faced the Panthers last week, so I think history is repeating itself tonight. The FanDuel odds for the second period being the highest score is plus 220. And will there be overtime? The Leafs have had some time to rest and reset, so I think they're ready to attack it tonight, and there will be no overtime. And FanDuel's odds for not going into overtime is minus 600. That's all we've got for you today. How are you feeling?
Oh, man, this was so great. Thank you for having me.
You're so welcome. Thank you for taking the time to join us. You will be taking my job one day, but I am more than happy with that. So in order to thank you and give credit where credit is due, we want to give you a couple tickets to tonight's game. Hopefully you can make it. That is for you. Thank you for representing the next gen of Toronto Maple Leafs fans so well.
Thank you so much for the tickets, Jackie. Thank you to everyone who set this up for me. And wow, this was just an incredible experience.
Oh, well, you're more than welcome. Thank you for making the time. And that is all we have for you guys today. Get ready for tonight's game, Toronto versus Florida, 7:30 p.m. puck drop. If you're watching at home, tune into Sportsnet. And if you want to listen in, TSN 1050 is the place to go. My name's Jacqueline Doorey.
My name is Mattan.
Thank you for watching, and we will see you guys next time. Go Leafs!